Hi, so welcome to this second part of FNO stocks. The first part you will get it in the upper right hand corner if you click on the I button, और इस वीडियो के एंड में भी आपको वो फर्स्ट पार्ट मिल जाएगी जहाँ पे हम alphabets A to H डिस्कस किए हैं, and here we are going to discuss I onwards. So let's start quickly. Indiable Housing Finance, it has a strong resistance at 250 के ऊपर क्लोजिंग में शायद कुछ अच्छी आए इसमें. ICICI Bank, very good structure, and this is actually on this particular day, actually it broke this particular good move it was having, and after that you can understand, and actually moves like this are very interesting. And because on this particular day what I did was I knew that 850 is a strong going to be a strong resistance, so I sold and 850 call, and so you can understand of all these days it's drifting downwards, it's not moving, as a result of which it's a very good trade which you can take, and you have to make sure that you close it just before you enter the expiry week, else this is actually a good strategy, and hopefully by next Monday I would be closing it in any way. अगर ये 806 के ऊपर अगर closing दी, so going forward it can have a good move. The structure is still valid. The good thing is you can see there was a gap up, and this gap is still, it took so many days to come near the gap, so this actually showcases that there's a lot of strength and it's just waiting for one of these days it's going to fire. ICICI GI ये 1500 और 1550 के बीच में बहुत दिनों तक रहा. Whenever it dips below 1450 it gets a support, so this is a good thing. And as I mentioned in my earlier video when we were discussing HDFC Life, that I have been away from all this insurance sector companies for the previous 2-3 months. लेकिन अभी हम धीरे धीरे, and this was also a strategy which we discussed in August and September, that towards December we will enter the stock, and I think right now we will try to see the pattern and study the pattern and see where it goes. Similarly, you can see there was a nice move in ICICI Prudential Life, and this is exactly this was expected, that these companies will take some time and this will consolidate. We don't want to be in this consolidation phase, we don't want to be over here, because we are momentum traders, and so what we need is a sort of a movement, and make sure that it doesn't fizzle out, and then take the trade and make it as an intraday 2-3% move, or if you are in the swing trading then make it a 5% move over a period of 2-3 days. So this is how I actually trade. Idea is also between a box. जब तक 11 के ऊपर closing नहीं आती, there's nothing much. IDFC First Bank is also in a box. But you can understand it's actually shifting higher, so this is actually a good one. Any closing above say the levels of 53 is going to be a good one, so you can take care of that. IEX, fantastic dip आई थी, and this was also what we discussed on this particular day. Yes, exactly, this was the day, the move which came after the result. So on 22nd, you can see on this particular day we told it's going for 600, it came towards 640, and we created our positions around about when it was able to give a closing above 700. From there we booked out early at 731 over here on this particular day, and then it has been going upward. Let's see if it is able to move past the levels of 850 which was earlier discussed, and then going forward we can see 1000 is still my short-term target. From a personal point of view, I think I would try to make some positions if it dips towards the levels of 700 definitely, and try to see how it moves from here. But at least as long as the levels of 770 it seems like is a good support. Multiple times this has come over here. 770 के नीचे अगर closing आई, so it can again correct towards the levels of 700. IGL also 500 के ऊपर closing would be an awesome thing, and so it has been trying to move past over there. Now going forward, let's see if it is able to give a strong move, so some move like this, and then we would be again considering IGL. In general, IGL and MGL has not been performing since last few months, so maybe around the corner they are going to give us a good trading opportunity, as in the long side or in the short side. Indian Hotel is also is stuck in a box. Is nothing much. There were a lot of red flags over here, and then it corrected, and now again it is not good for trading. There is no such a this is actually India Cement is actually a very good bearish pattern, and theoretically it has been trying, but I am pretty sure अगर ये 215 level को breach करती है, it will again dip towards 200, or on the upside I think whenever it will go towards the levels of 220, it will again see sell-offs happening. This time if it is able to close above the levels of 220, just like this one, so theoretically then it will break out of this range and it will move towards the levels of 240 in India Cement. India Mart also 8000 के नीचे जब तक है, there is not much strength, and even going forward 8000 is going to be a tough resistance. Indigo, we discussed this, and you can see we were expecting a move to come, and this was discussed on last Thursday night's video, and on Friday you can see a good move came. It broke this level. Now we are waiting for the levels of 2400. I would suggest for me, of course we took the trade as soon as it broke the levels of 2200, 2205, and from there it went towards 2306, so it was a good 5% move intraday which we captured. IndusInd Bank gap down, shifting downwards, so 1000 is actually a good support, but I think it will dip towards the levels of 980, and I want it to dip and give us a sort of a confirmation of if there are other buyers for IndusInd Bank. Indus Tower also, it's in 300 and 270 range. Infi, fantastic move, and this was also what we discussed on the last weekend, एक week पहले, where we said that Infi is looking really good, and that's exactly what happened. Now it's going a very strong move. Going forward, we are going to Infi is going to definitely see some profit booking at 1800 levels, so be sure to book your profits. At least I'm going to do that, and then going forward अगर ये 1800 के ऊपर closing देती है, then theoretically 1900 and 2000 should be very soon. We should see it. IOC is also more in a box, nothing much. IPCA Lab, fantastic dip came, and it was able, you can see that there was a buying. So going forward, I think 2200 is a strong resistance, and so 2250 के ऊपर अगर ये sustain कर पाई, so definitely 2400 would be coming in IPCA Lab. And I think IPCA is more it actually worked on last Friday, because I think there was a lot of retail buying in IPCA, but other than that I can also see that there are some positions which were created in IPCA on the long side. Let's see where it moves. In general अगर ये levels अगर breach होती है 2100 levels, so definitely 2000 would be a very weak support, so it will even dip below 2000. IRCTC बहुत अच्छे से धीरे धीरे कंसोलिडेट कर करके इट्स गोइंग टूवर्ड्स 880 विच इज़ अ स्ट्रॉन्ग रेजिस्टेंस. अगर 880 के ऊपर अगर सस्टेन कर पाई, सो डेफिनेटली इट विल ट्राई टू अगेन गो टूवर्ड्स द लेवल्स ऑफ 960 and 980, and in general it looks not that bad, and going forward there can be a good move which we can expect in the very short term. In general 800 is like a good support, and so if it is able to hold the levels of 800, then going forward 1000 is definitely a very strong resistance for IRCTC. ITC also ये हमारा 218 का टारगेट था. We expected 218, but it reversed from 221, and now again it's going up. In general 240 is a strong resistance, and so I think it will be between 220 and 240, and there's nothing much to trade in ITC. Jindal Steel also getting a support at 400 levels. This is in general bearish structure, and any move below the levels of 390 can take it again back to 360 levels. JK Cement, ये हमने डिस्कस किया था on Friday. This was a good consolidation happening after a good move like this, and now you can see it's trying to move up. So this is definitely looking good on the charts. Let's see if there are some news based erratic movements. ये अगर नहीं हुई, so theoretically we should be seeing a good move in the coming week. JSW Steel 700 और 660 के बीच में है. There's nothing much. Jubilant Food also, after a good profit booking from 4500 levels to 3500 levels, now it's again trying to go past it. But in general, these are very weak structures, and until and unless ये 4350 4400 ये जो level है, जब तक यहाँ तक नहीं आती है, there's nothing much of so it can go anyway. So other than that, one of the trading strategies which we will deploy is we are going to see if it gets some support from 3800 levels. So right now it's as 4000. So 3800 should act like a support for this one. Kotak Bank also ये 2000 and 2200 के बीच में है, and one of these days it is going to give us explicit direction of the trade. L&T Finance Housing 90 or 80 के बीच में, there is nothing much. Lalpath Lab also, is nothing much is happening, especially with this Metropolis result. Let's Lalpath Lab, we can have a look at Metropolis. Yeah, so basically these are same structures, nothing much, no direction, just like so there's nothing fireworks which I can expect in these two counters. Lotus Lab, we discussed on these particular days, it is going to shift downwards, and that's what's happening. And I think, and this was also we told about on this particular day, that how 500 will also not be able to support it, and here you can see it is still going downwards. I think going forward it will try to get some support from the levels of 440, and if not, then 400 is definitely in the cards for Lotus Labs. In general, these companies are good trading companies for me, because there are a lot of retailers out there who have huge, they actually love these kind of names which are being tweeted all over the places by experts. So basically you have to just wait for the confirmation, and once you see that there is some buying, just join the wagon and make sure that because in general I have not much faith in these companies, where most of the positions are these are more of a good trading scripts for me rather than investment. Of course, fundamentally the stock can be strong, but I think Lotus Labs still has more correction left, and maybe 440 420, these levels are 420 to 440. This would be a good level for me to ascertain the future move of Lotus Labs. LIC Housing Finance is also between 400 and 450. There's nothing much. LT, fantastic move, is moving towards our final target of 2000. So from 1600 levels, it has had 1600 was an all-time high breakout, and from there it is now first our target was 1800, and from 1800 our target was 2000 on this particular day, and here you can see it has been moving really good. LTI also fantastic, all-time high closing, fantastic move. I mean, this is one of the best companies, and also LTTS, two of my favorite companies, and moving towards all-time high, and this is definitely the kind of trades which I am in, and I really want to stick with these companies in the future. Lupin, because I understand the business side of these two companies together with the technology, and I have a lot of faith on these two, including Mindtree. Lupin is between 950. In general, Lupin जब तक 1000 के ऊपर नहीं आती, there's not much we can expect. M&M also, this is a typical bearish pattern, and going forward I think अगर 910 levels, 906 levels अगर इसको breach करती है, it will again correct, and this time the correction can take it towards the levels of 860 and 850. Eminem Finance between 180 and 200, nothing much. This is a good, there is a chance of Eminem Finance to break past the levels of 200, and maybe if that happens it will go towards the levels of 220. Manappuram also same structures, fantastic consolidation is happening at 50 all-time highs. Going forward, अगर कोई भी move आई and if it it sustains, so basically this can take it towards levels of 240. And Marico, nothing much, 550 में resistance लेने की support लेने की कोशिश कर रही है, but there is not much of a we can expect from Marico. Because it's stuck between 600 and 550, so it will just keep on playing this range. Maruti also is trying to get some support at 7500 levels, but I think the way the structures are forming, if it dips below 7450 this particular day, 3400 levels, then theoretically it can again correct towards the levels of 7200 and 7000. Mac double 1000 was a technical target. This was achieved, and after that it's just trying to consolidate. In general, yield structures may until and unless some immediate buying comes in, they will keep on wandering at these levels. And agar wo raha to there is not much you can expect from these companies. MCX also nice move came 2000 levels, and going forward अगर ये 2000 के ऊपर closing देती है, definitely we would be very much interested, provided it's able to get hold of 1900. अगर 1900 below closing आई, so basically it can again come back towards the levels of 1700, and then it would be in a box. Metropolis, as we discussed with Lalpath Lab, there was a gap down. Any move below 3000 and I will be shorting it. This is a very good short structure. You can see that as it's trying to move forward, there are some profit bookings from the higher levels of 3200. जब तक ये 3200 के ऊपर closing नहीं देती है, I would be more concentrating on a short trade below 3000. MFSL is also more in a box, nothing much. Yeah, 950 से इसको support मिल रही है. Previously it used to get a support from 1000, so now 1000 is basically a resistance. You can see it is trying to enter, and from 1000 levels it's again coming to 950 levels. So it's more like this, and so there's nothing much we can expect. I think going forward, 1000 के ऊपर अच्छी closing आई है, because you can see there was not a single closing on this particular time frame where it was over closing over 1000. As a result of which, जब तक वो नहीं आती है, there's not much we can expect. MGL, same structure like IGL, trying to get some support from 1000 levels. In general, any closing below the levels of 1000 may again drag it towards the levels of 950. And Mindtree all-time high closing, and going forward it made an all-time high on Friday, and so going forward 5000 का हमारा जो target है, let's see if it is able to take that out. I think once it will able to move past 5000 on a closing basis, then definitely 550 would be in the charts, and so that's actually one of the trades which I am very much interested in. Motherson Sumi is between 220 and 240. A good dip came, a good buying came. So Motherson Sumi also 252 is actually, it went towards a 249. In general, 252 is actually a strong resistance, and especially अगर ये 257 255 इसके ऊपर अगर trade करना start की, then there can be something we can expect. Emphasis is also more in a box, and I'm very much interested in Emphasis. If it ever comes towards the levels of the 3000, definitely I would be adding, and even if it dips towards 3100, I would still be adding some small quantities in SIP. MRF, there's nothing much. 80,000 की ऊपर closing आएगी, then only we can expect some fireworks. Muthoot Finance, fantastic consolidation happening at all-time highs. 1600 was a very strong resistance. We traded on this particular day when it was able to take out 16,000, and this was also discussed a lot of times in my previous videos when we created on these particular days in the month of October. So the final move came, and then it was just a very good up move which came in, and then it was able. So right now the only thing which I'm more concerned about is if it as long as it is able to hold 16,000, there should be it will again go for a nice consolidation phase. and then 18,000 is our final target for short term, so maybe we are going to achieve that. Nam India also, you can see it's more in a box, 400 and 440 के बीच में, and if it ever comes to 400 sorry, I would definitely betting it. National Alam is also dancing at 100 levels, so जब तक ये 107 108 के ऊपर closing नहीं देती है, there's not much we can expect. Naukri, fantastic move came in. हमने 6000 में यहाँ पे अपना वो बनाया था. So on this particular day we told and discussed how 6000 is going to come, and we were ready. It dipped towards 5900, and then we waited for it to come over the levels of 6000, which it did on this particular day, and from 6000 it has now gone for 6400 levels. So going forward, we are very much interested in Naukri, and going forward हमारा target 7000 फिर आएगा. I think this is going to stay in a box. In general, on the last weekend we talked about how IT is going to be a good trade. It's just a matter of time when all the mid cap ITs definitely together with a few selected large cap ITs is going to be reward you a very good long trade going forward. Navin Florin, same thing. I think अगर 3500 के नीचे अगर closing आई just like this, it will then definitely correct towards the levels of 3000. Nestle India also is dancing at 1900 levels. NMDC is also in a box between 150 and 140. The good thing is there was immediate reversal from 140, so it seems like 140 is a very strong resistance, support, as a result of which maybe if it comes at 140 NMDC, then we would try to ascertain of whether that move is going to reverse from that levels. In general, these are PSU companies, and so you can see that even if someone invested, so from the levels of 160 it is now towards 135, so they have already lost 35, which corresponds to near about 30% of 25 to 20% to 20 to 25% of their wealth in just a matter of 5-10 sessions. And this is how PSUs are actually the reason why I stay away from them. Also Ntpc, nice dip, and these are actually very bearish structures. जब तक 140 especially अगर 142 के ऊपर closing नहीं आती है, we can still be sure that this is going to break even the support of 130, and it's going to eventually correct towards 120. Oberoi Realty is a good move negated, and this is not good. Very soon अगर ये 1000 के ऊपर closing नहीं देती है, it can again correct towards the levels of 900. OFSS is the only mid cap IT company which I'm not at all interested in. Other than that, मेरे fingers और मेरे पैसा सभी में है. And the reason is I have never seen OFSS actually to be from a stock perspective to be one of those companies जिसमें अच्छी move आती है, and I really don't know why there is so much of less interest for OFSS. ONGC 160 150, these are typical. जब तक ये 160 के ऊपर closing नहीं देती है, there's not much we can expect from ONGC. Going forward, again ये 150 के तरफ आ रही है, and if that's the case, then I think it will again try to get some support from 150 and below levels. Page Industry, very nice consolidating structure at all-time high levels. 4000 is trying to give a closing above 4000. This is good. जब तक ये on a closing basis, जब तक ये 39,300 को ब्रीच नहीं करती है, इन लेवल्स को ब्रीच नहीं करती है on a closing basis, it can actually still move forward. And from a target perspective, 43,000 is actually a good target for on a technical basis for Page Industry in the short to medium term. PEL, it was one of my favorite companies. मैं इसमें बहुत trade करता था. Now we are just waiting for the divestment. And it's actually ruined this whole company for me, so we are just waiting for all the demergers which are planning for PEL. Once this is done, then we would be able to ascertain. In general, PEL earlier we traded a lot of times, not in the month of October but previously, where we used to buy at 2500 2600 and sell at 2800. And that used to happen very frequently, and within a span of 2-3 days. It was a very good money maker for us, but after the demerger news came, we are not at all interested in this for now. Persistent, fantastic structure, both अच्छी एक dip आई थी, buying came. You can see these wicks, these signify there's a lot of interest. Again, you can see this week again interest is there, and now it's making higher lows, which is a good thing. Going forward, definitely 40 this 4250, 4300 is a strong resistance, but I'm pretty sure one of these days persistent is definitely going to be in our first trade for Monday, and we would try to see how it moves from there. Petronet, it's between 230 and 240 since long. Anytime it gives a closing above 240, we would definitely be thinking about adding positions in Petronet. PFC is also between 140, and previously it was between 140 and 150. It broke 140, and now 140 is acting like a resistance, so maybe 130 will act like a support for now. Pfizer move came. This was after the result. So basically Pfizer is stuck between the levels of 5,000 and 5,500, and until and unless one of these ranges they get broken on a closing basis, there's not much of a trading opportunity for in Pfizer. Pidilite, fantastic move came. It was able, and then again it dipped, and this is actually a very good structure because you can see that 2400 में इसको कुछ buying interest मिली, and it was able to defend it. So going forward Monday or Tuesday में हम देखेंगे ये 2400 levels अगर ये breach नहीं होती है, then going forward we would be very much interested. हमने ये strategy बनाई थी कि जब ये 450 के ऊपर closing देगी on this particular day, then we would be monitoring it, and here you can see it's been making higher lows and higher highs. So this is still a value structure. So in general you can say 2500 is a strong resistance, 2480 to 2500. जब ये moves, if a move comes beyond that, then definitely you should be jumping in the trade for a level of 2600 in the short term, and also it's very near to its all-time high. So basically it's the momentum is still there. It's just a matter of time where we would be able to get a target of 2600. PI Industry, one of my favorite companies, and we were actually trading PI Industry, but the problem came in as PI Industry broke the levels of 3500, and from there it has been on a downward spiral journey. When it came at 3000, and this is exactly the reason why I say until and unless we discuss 3250 के ऊपर move नहीं आती है, we don't add. And here you can see there was a gap down, and now it has been trailing below 3000 since so many sessions. I think अगर ये 2500 के levels पे आई, then maybe I would try for track it for a reversal. In general, the strategy is simple. 3000 is a strong resistance, so no matter what happens, it won't be able to move past 3000 in one go. Sorry. PNB also is in a box, nothing much. Polycab, this is a fantastic structure, but now what we need is it should be able to hold the levels of 2450. उसके नीचे अगर closing आई, then Polycab can again correct towards the levels of 2300, 2200 in the short term. और अगर ये 2600 के ऊपर अगर ट्रेड करनी स्टार्ट की, so right now it's at 2500 levels, so 2600 levels के ऊपर अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then Polycab can definitely be a good momentum trade. And from a target perspective, we can expect some 2800 for Polycab. Power grade 190 or 180 के बीच में. So it was on this particular day when it gave a closing below 200, we were sure 190 is coming. When this particular day came, we were sure 180 is coming, and multiple times it has tried to go past 190 2-3 times, but it's unable to, and now it's again trying to go. It dipped towards 180.3, you can see on this particular day. So it is making lower lows, and going forward अगर 180 के नीचे closing आई, then there can be more profit booking in power grade. PVR, fantastic move. So between 1800 PVR structure, you can very well compare with Indigo, and this is also a structure which was in Indigo. 1800 के ऊपर अच्छी move आएगी, we would definitely be jumping in PVR. Aramco Cement and PVR में there is not much of a different structure you can see. It's again 1100 के ऊपर closing high, we would be jumping. And RBL Bank also, it's nice consolidating after a good move, at least as long as 200 levels, and especially अगर 205 levels को hold कर पाई. और so going forward we can expect some good move in RBL Bank. RDC Limited broke the levels of 150. Going forward it can even correct towards the levels of 140, so this is a good short trade which is coming up. Reliance 2600 is a very very strong resistance for Reliance, and going forward अगर ये 2600 को भी breach नहीं कर पाई on a closing basis, Reliance can actually correct, and in general 2660 and 2680 इसके ऊपर अगर trade करना start की, then definitely we would be adding, especially 2700 अगर breach की, then definitely I will be adding huge quantities in Reliance. In general, I think Reliance should be stuck between the levels of 2400 and 2600, and it should consolidate between these two levels. Or from a trade perspective, you can have this levels of 2550 or 2540, say for example, as your level. अगर 2540 के नीचे अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then definitely it will correct more and it may come towards the levels of 2400 in short term. Sale also, there is nothing much, it's in a box. SBI card also, after the result not much happened, so it's trying to get some support. In general 1000 is a good level for me to add SBI card. SBI Life also 1200 is a strong resistance. You can see not a single time it was able to close above 1200 levels. Whenever it opens above 1200, there's immediate selling, but at least it was able to hold 1150. And now again it's at 1150, but this time it seems like it won't be able to. And अगर ये especially अगर ये 1140 1130 के नीचे अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then 1100 is going to come in SBI Life. State Bank of India, actually I think going forward I have added positions at 509 levels, as we had discussed earlier. It dipped towards 503 levels, and from there it was able to recover. So in general मेरा टारगेट अभी 519 और 522 इसके बीच में है, and it has to overcome this level in order to go for the next level. But the good thing is I am carrying State Bank of India. I always carry State Bank of India, but I have created positions on the last Friday at 509 levels, as we had discussed earlier multiple times. For State Bank of India, that was my strategy on this particular day. When the result was posted, it was trading at 538. Then I tweeted at that particular point of time that I'm going to add a State Bank only if it comes at 509, and that's what happens with the stocks. No matter how much bullish the TV commentators and the experts, no matter how many tweets you see from all your experts which you follow, if the structure has weakness, and then definitely this is going to come to the levels as per technical analysis. And I think it should not have broken the levels of 505, but it did. I think it was more of panic selling maybe, or some trades the people actually closed their trades. No matter what, I think going forward 519 से 522 would be a tough resistance for this expiry. और अगर ये इसके ऊपर भी अगर जाना start कर दे, then definitely we would be adding more and take it forward. Shree Cement, nice consolidation, and now it's trying to hold this levels of 29,000. Going forward 30,000 के ऊपर closing में there can be a good up move. Siemens, fantastic structure, we discussed it on last weekend, so it was on this particular day, and then you can see from Monday onwards, because we knew that this closing was a strong one, and so from Monday onwards it was able to move really good. And going forward 2400 seems like this one of the resistances which will be get broken very soon, hopefully. SRF is also just like jab tak ye 2250 2300, actually 2300 is a very strong resistance, and going forward agar ye levels of 2100 agar ye breach karti hai on a closing basis, then 2000 is actually coming in SRF. Shriram Transport Finance is also trying to get some support from in general for SRF, as was I saying that you should always try to be in those stocks which have in those sectors. अभी chemical sector चल नहीं रही है, so this is the reason why we have been staying away from these. हमने previously बहुत ट्रेड लिया है SRF, नवीन फ्लोरीन, दीपक नाइट्राइड और आरती में, but now since last few weeks it has not been able to perform, and so we are just trying to stay away from it. Shriram Transport Finance, a fantastic move, all-time high, trying to hold the levels of 1600. That's on a closing basis, that's good. अगर ये 1550 के नीचे अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then again it will correct towards the levels of 1400. Star also is trying to get some support at 500. जब तक 600 is a strong resistance. जब तक 600 के ऊपर क्लोजिंग नहीं आती, we won't be interested. Some firm also 800. It seems like 820 is a strong resistance for this expiry. You can see whenever it goes, there is a profit booking coming in. So in general, अगर ये especially अगर ये 770 780 के नीचे अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then again it will correct towards the levels of 750. Sun TV, fantastic. People were very enjoying when this move came, and from there it has again come back to 550, and this time hopefully अगर ये 550 को भी अगर hold नहीं कर पाए, then it will again correct towards the levels of 500. Syngene, it has been trying to gain some support at the levels of 550. In general अगर ये 530 इस रेंज के नीचे अगर ये ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then going forward it can even correct towards 5000. In general it is stuck, so 600 is like a strong resistance from Syngene, and maybe it won't be able to move past that. Tata came, fantastic gap down happened, and after that it has never been able to move past towards the levels of 1000. But the good thing is since last few sessions ये जो gap down हुई थी, there was no follow up selling, and so 900 acted like a sort of support, and this has been ongoing since the last few sessions. कोई भी अगर 880 के नीचे अगर closing आती है, then there can be a huge correction, and maybe it will go towards the levels of 800. In general 1000 is a strong resistance, so it has to be able to move past the levels of 1000. Tata Consumer also, it has been in a box, and 850 and 800, and in general I think जब तक ये in general अगर ये फिर 830 के लेवल पे नीचे अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then again it will correct towards the levels of 800, and maybe this time it will go towards 750. Tata Motors also, it's more in a box between the levels of 470 and 520. So we are just waiting for a good breakout. In general, it seems like from at least the structures which we have today, that whenever it tries to go towards the levels of 520 over here, you can see there's a profit booking which comes in. So a very small range is the levels of 520 and 500. Tata Power also 250 is a strong resistance. It has been able to move past it. अगर 250 के ऊपर अगर closing आई, then definitely it can move towards the levels of 300 in very short term as per technical analysis. Tata Steel is also weak even after posting the results, so it seems like this 1280 this has been our sort of support, so it 1280 acted like a support even on the last session, and so going forward अगर ये 1280 के below closing देती है, then definitely it can come towards the levels of 1200. So we have to see. In general हमारा strategy was simple. 1360 is a strong resistance. 1360 के ऊपर जैसे ही ये move करना start करेगी, we would be adding for 1400 target, और अगर 1400 के ऊपर अगर अच्छी closing आई, then definitely it can go further. But in general I think this is going to get stuck, and there is not much also happening with other steel companies, so the whole sector is not able to perform, be it Tata Steel, JSW Steel, Jindal Steel, so none of them, even SAIL is also not able to. TCS 3400 3600 के बीच में consolidate कर रही है. 3600 के ऊपर closing, there would be a good move coming on this particular day. We discussed of how TCS is going to be in our radar, and definitely you can see a nice move is coming. For now 3600 is a strong resistance. So Tech Mahindra also 1600 above closing will take it more towards the levels of 1800. Titan also a nice consolidation. 2600 is a very tough resistance. I think it will, if it touches 2600, there will be a profit booking, and then we have to see if it is able to hold the levels of 2500. And so theoretically अगर ये 2650 के ऊपर अगर ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, which would be an all time high for Titan, then there can be a good move. Torrent Pharma 2800 or 3000 के बीच में है, and we have added positions at 2800 on this particular day, but we are still carrying the positions. If there is any more weakness coming forward, I would be adding more in Torrent Pharma. The strategy is, I actually believe in this particular pharma company, and going forward I think one of these days ये 3000 के ऊपर it was earlier in a band between 3200 and 3000. Then this breakdown came. ये breakdown जब आया था, then we discussed about 2800 levels, which it came. Here I added, and then I was waiting for a 3000. It never came, and so I'm still carrying the positions. In general, अगर ये it looks weak, and in general अगर ये if it comes towards 2600, then I would be deploying more funds, and these are all for short to medium term investments for me. Torrent Power nicely going towards all-time high. So 550 is a strong resistance. अगर ये 551 levels को अगर breach करके trade करती है, definitely 600 is in the vicinity. Trend. This night dip came, and in general it's between 1200 and 1000 levels. So any move below 1100 will again take it towards the levels of 1000. TVS Motor, a nice gap up, and still it's able to maintain these levels. In general, 800 would be above closing, would be really good news for the bulls in TVS Motor, and from a target perspective, 1000 should be achievable. TVS Motor and Escorts are the only two companies in the auto sector which I am trading, and which I am creating long positions, and I have a lot of expectations from this company. In general, the good thing about TVS Motor is अगर ये 700 के नीचे आ गई on a closing basis, then again it will correct immediately to 600. So that's also one of the good trades which I'm waiting for. Because in general the auto sector has not been able to, none of the auto sector companies like Bajaj Auto, Hero Motor, then Eicher Motor, so none of them are able to, even Ashok Leyland also. So strength किसी में नहीं है. Most of them seems like they are range bound, and so basically these are very good trading opportunities. UBL also 1700 levels के ऊपर अच्छे breakout आई, good move, and now it's trying to consolidate. So maybe जब तक ये 1700 के ऊपर, especially 1680 के ऊपर जब तक closing देती है, so there is absolutely nothing to worry. Same is for Ultrachem. This is also very nicely consolidating 8000, and especially अगर 7800 7900 7900 से 7850 जब तक ये levels hold करती है, there is absolutely nothing. लेकिन अगर इसके नीचे आ गई, then it can automatically and very fast and furiously correct towards the levels of 7500. UPL also is 750 levels को breach की है, but in general अगर ये फिर 740 के नीचे अगर आके ट्रेड करना स्टार्ट की, then again it will fall back towards the levels of 700. Vedanta also is trying to get some support from 300, and it's now between a box of between 300. अगर ये if it is not able to hold the levels of 315 310, so again it will correct, and this time maybe it will correct more towards the levels of 280, right? Voltas also fantastic. अच्छी डाउन टर्न आई थी फ्रॉम टिल 1200, फिर इसमें कंसोलिडेट करके जब तक ये 1200 लेवल्स को ब्रीच नहीं करती है. इन जनरल आई थिंक दीज आर वेरी वीक स्ट्रक्चर्स. जब तक स्ट्रॉन्ग मूव आनी चाहिए वेरी सून टू टेक द स्टॉक वोल्टास ओवर 1300 ऑन अ क्लोजिंग बेसिस. जब तक ये नहीं आती है, देयर आर स्टिल चांसेस इट विल डिप टुवर्ड्स 1200, और अगर वो डिफेंड नहीं होती है, देन डेफिनेटली 1100 इज कमिंग इन वोल्टास. दिस इज ऑल्सो ट्रू फॉर वर्लपूल, and this is exactly you can see that this is what I mean. ये ऐसे structures आती हैं, लेकिन then consolidation चलती है, and then you can see this is a bad move, and any move जो 2300 नीचे अगर होने start की, then definitely 2200 भी breach होके ये it will more correct towards the levels of 2000. विप्रो 650 में डांस करते करते अभी 650 में उसको कुछ सपोर्ट मिल रही है, एंड गोइंग फॉरवर्ड वी हैव टू सी इन जनरल 700 इज अ स्ट्रॉन्ग रेजिस्टेंस, एंड आई थिंक गोइंग फॉरवर्ड ये 650 और 700 के बीच में रहेगा. विप्रो मेड एन ऑल टाइम हाई ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर डे विच वी ट्रेडेड एंड वी बुक्ड अवर प्रॉफिट्स एंड वी ट्वीटेड अबाउट इट व्हेन इट वाज स्टक एट upper circuit. So in the hindsight it seems like it was a very good decision. We were just waiting for the closing. The closing was not good and it was weak, but you can see there was a huge upper wick, and this actually signified that if the levels of 700 gets breached it will correct more, and that's exactly what happened. It came towards 650, and now again it's trying to go towards the levels of 700. And Zeal, the last one, so it's between 300 and 320. जब तक ये 330 के ऊपर strong closing नहीं देती है, so there are still chances that it will again come towards levels of 300 for support. और अगर breach करती है then in short to mid term we can expect the levels of 360. Of course this is a technical analysis and I really can't predict what would happen if a move comes based on the news. So this is the second part of this video. Hope this was helpful for you. As usual, this is an educational video and please consult your financial advisor for any trading or investment related queries. The part 1 of the video which discusses all the stocks from A to H have been added in the I button or towards the end of the video, and this is the part 2 for the weekend study. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye bye. Enjoy your day.